in that matchup there. All right, let's go ahead and slide into some college basketball. Now, we have a really nice slate of college basketball games, a lot of ranked opponents and good teams playing each other. So we're going to go ahead and break down 8 college basketball games for this Saturday's action. Let's begin with Virginia Tech at Clemson, 12 o'clock tip-off at Clemson. The Tigers open 1.5. They're now -3. Total open 130 down to 129. Once again, the Tigers are -3. Total's 129. 55% are leaning Virginia Tech. 51% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Hokies are +130 for some money line cash. Now, Virginia Tech ranks 8th in field goal percentage, 2nd in three-point percentage, and 6th in points allowed in the country. They also rank 7th in defensive rebounding in college basketball. Now, Clemson, on their side of things, they're when taking on teams over 650, they're covering just 25% of those games. So once again, the Tigers, when taking on teams over a win percentage of 650, they're covering just 25% of those ball games. Clemson's also ranking 201st in home scoring and 198 in home offensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Virginia Tech is 5-2 to the over in their last 7. Give me the Hokies +3 in the over 129 in that matchup there. Next game, Wisconsin at Michigan, 12 o'clock, Wolverines. Michigan open 5.5 up to 6.5. Total open 120.5 down to 120. Once again, Michigan's -6.5. Total's 120. 65% are leaning Michigan, 58% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Badgers are +235 for some money line cash. Now, Wisconsin, as the road dog, is covering just 40% of their ball games. They also rank 204th in the nation in road defensive rebounding. Michigan, on their side of things, well, they're 21-2 straight up overall, a perfect 14-0 straight up at home, and 7-3 against the number in their last 10. Now, scoring-wise, Michigan is 50% to the over when the line was under 132. They're also 50% to the over, taking on teams averaging 67 to 72 points per contest. So with all that in mind, I'm going to make a very chalky play in this one. Give me the Wolverines -6 after buying the half a point, and the over 120 in that matchup there. All right, next game, it is going to be a 2:30 start. So let me just buy some time as we scroll down here on the app. And our next game is going to be Villanova at Marquette, and that will be a 2:30 Eastern tip-off at Marquette. Marquette opened -1 up to -1.5. Total open 143.5 up to 144. Once again, Marquette's laying 1.5. Totals at 144. 53% are leaning Marquette. 71% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Wildcats are +$1.10 for some money line cash. Now, if you like Nova in this spot here, they're ranking 212th in the country in road defensive rebounding. They're also just 164 in defending the 3-ball away from home as well. Now, Marquette ranks 9th in shooting the 3-ball, and they are a perfect 4-0 against the spread in their games at the current number. Now, total-wise, Marquette, when they're at home taking on teams allowing less than 67 points per contest, they are 80% to the over. So once again, when Marquette is at home taking on teams allowing less than 67 points per contest, they are 80% to the over. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Marquette -1 after buying the half a point and the over 144 in that matchup there. All right, next game, it is going to be a 4 o'clock start, and that is Texas Tech at Oklahoma. And there it is. Texas Tech at Oklahoma, 4 o'clock tip-off at Oklahoma. The Raiders of Texas Tech are -1.5. Totals 130 and a hook. 61% are leaning Texas Tech, 54% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Sooners are -102 for some money line cash. Now, the Sooners have been very good against the number this season. They're 18-5 against the spread overall for the year. 10-3 ATS on their home court. The Sooners rank 22nd in home offensive rebounding, 19th in defensive field goal percentage. And as the underdog, they're covering 86% of their games this season. Now, Texas Tech is just 3-6 against the spread when traveling, and as the road favorite, they're covering just 25% of their ball games. Now, scoring-wise, when Texas Tech is on the road taking on teams allowing 67 to 72 points per contest, they are 67% to the over. Now, on the Oklahoma side of things, they are 6-2 to the over in their last 8. So I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me Oklahoma +2 after buying the hook, and the over 130.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Louisville at Florida State. That is a 4 o'clock tip-off. Let me see if that might be one of the blank screens here. There it is. Louisville at Florida State, 4 o'clock tip-off at Florida State. The Seminoles open 2, up to -3.5. Totals at 143.5.
Did you say Louisville?
Louisville.
No.
Yeah, well, it's Louisville, but they say it's Louisville.
Okay.
Me and the subscribers, we've been over this many times. It's very comical. But I call it Louisville, but apparently the real broadcasters say Louisville, like a dog with peanut butter on the roof of his mouth. Louisville. So anyway, yes, I did say Louisville. Anyway, once again, my producer doing her hair, challenging me on the pronunciation of Louisville. But anyway, Louisville at Florida State. 4 o'clock tip-off at Florida State. The Seminoles open 2, up to -3.5. Totals at 143 and a hook. 51% are leaning Louisville. 61% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Cardinals of Louisville +130 for some money line cash. Now, Louisville has successfully covered the number in 5 out of their last 6. They're also 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 when traveling. The Cardinals rank 7th from the stripe, 21st in home offensive rebounding, and they're covering 83% of their games as the official road underdog. Now, scoring-wise, FSU is 83% to the over, taking on teams averaging more than 72 points per contest. Give me the Louisville Cardinals +4 after buying the half a point, and the over 143.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Florida, Tennessee. Florida, Tennessee, 4 o'clock tip-off at Tennessee. The Volunteers opened 11.5 down to -11. Totals 138.5. 71% are leaning Tennessee. 66% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Gators are +520 for some money line cash. Now, the Gators have failed to cover in their last 5 straight. They're 0-5 against the spread in their last 5. They've also dropped 5 out of their last 8 straight up. Just 3-5 straight up in their last 8. Tennessee, on their side of things, they're 21-1 straight up overall for the year, a perfect 15-0 straight up at home, and they rank 2nd in the nation in field goal percentage. Now, scoring-wise, Tennessee is 9-5 to the under at home. Meanwhile, Florida 4-2 to the under in their last 6. Give me Tennessee -11 and the under 138.5 in that matchup there. Next game, this is the one that everybody has eyes on. It is a 6 o'clock start. We have 2 very good ranked teams, and I bought enough time. There we are. Duke at Virginia, 6 o'clock tip-off at Virginia. The Cavaliers open the betting as the 2-point favorite, total at 135. And since those markets opened this one up, we're actually seeing a steady and consistent fade of Virginia when it comes to the spread. We're also seeing movement upward on the total as well. Right now, UVA's -1.5, totals at 135. So once again, the Virginia Cavaliers opened -2, down to -1.5, total open 135, up to 135 and a hook. 52% are leaning Duke, 61% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Blue Devils are +105 for some money line cash. Now, Duke has failed to cover the number in 4 out of their last 8. They also rank 244th in three-point percentage. The Blue Devils are just 209th from the stripe. They rank 209 from the stripe, 171st in defensive rebounding, and 92nd in the nation in road points allowed. Now, that ain't going to get the job done because they're taking on a UVA team who's 20-1 straight up overall, 13-0 straight up at home, and they rank 1st in points allowed. Now, scoring-wise, UVA, well, when they take on teams allowing less than 67 points per contest, they actually go 67% to the over. So with all that in mind, I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and take the Virginia Cavaliers -1 and the over 135.5 in that matchup there. All right, next and final game for the show. It is going to be out on the West Coast. It is a 10 o'clock start, and it is going to be the game between St. Mary's at Gonzaga. 10 o'clock tip-off at St. Mary's. Gonzaga is minus 17, totals 152. What do we have here? Gonzaga's home. Okay. My bad. St. Mary's at Gonzaga, 10 o'clock tip-off at Gonzaga. The Bulldogs are minus 17, totals 152. 70% are leaning Gonzaga, 57% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, St. Mary's is plus 1,300 for some money line cash. Gonzaga's 10-3 against the spread in their last 13, 16-0 straight up at home. Give me Gonzaga minus 17 and the under 152 in that matchup there. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I'll just quickly remind you, once again, as I always do, to check me out at patreon.com/Brock Page. With an incredible record in the NBA in my last couple of weeks, you're certainly costing yourself some valuable information each and every day you're not subscribed to that website. Memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. So once again, please feel free to just hit that pause button right now. Open up your browser. All you got to do is type in patreon.com/Brock Page. It'll only take you a couple of seconds. Link is in the description section below. And if you are a current patron of mine and you're currently watching me right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. You most certainly make it all worth it. And most importantly, thank you for watching today's program. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free information. And don't forget to check me out at patreon.com/Brock Page.